Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games.
It's the best station, period.
Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Wow, Joe Ingles, big Joe Ingles news, Ben.
Okay.
He's signing as a free agent with Melbourne, whatever that team is.
Yeah.
The Melbourne something or other.
Melbourne United.
Is that what it is?
Yep.
Wow. You know, you can say that Joe Ingles got made the very most of his NBA opportunity.
We talk about some guys. We're talking about it a lot in the draft. Do you reach your 1 out of 1 outcome? Like the best case scenario.
Uh-huh.
If you get there, you become Shea. You become Michael. You become LeBron. You become Tim Duncan. You hit your absolute peak. Joe's peak was 1,000 miles below those guys, but he hit his peak. No question about it.
He played probably 4 more years in the NBA than he should have.
810 games, 12 NBA seasons. That is so far above what anybody ever would have thought. And he started late. He didn't come to the NBA as an 18-year-old or a 19-year-old. He was past his athletic prime by the time he got to the league and still stuck around forever. So tip of the cap to Joe Ingles on a very long, successful NBA career.
How old are his kids now, probably?
30 and 28.
No. Like they're probably 10 or 12, right?
9 and 6, something around there.
Do you think they will always have an American accent?
I bet that would kill him inside.
Like if they're moving back, obviously.
Uh-huh.
Do you think they would ever develop an Australian? I think they're old enough that they've got an American accent forever.
Ironically, they winter in Australia, right? Because aren't the seasons reversed?
Uh-huh.
So they go back to Australia during the American summer, but it's winter there to get the kids. I believe he said this to help them keep their accents.
Speaking of former Jazz players, let's talk about another one. And, of course, the Eastern Conference Finals. Joining us now, he is the afternoon drive host for 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. Nice enough to join us. He is Nick Wilson. Hi, Nick.
Gentlemen, great to be here. And I also would like to winter or summer in Australia.
Sounds
Whenever you can get it. Yeah, I'll go wherever. All right, so the Cavs got to be riding high. That was a very tough series when they were down 2-0. I thought they were dead to rights, and they bounced back. Let me ask you this. How much do you think the future of this roster depended on the outcome of last night's game?
Oh, all of it. I think James Harden was going to be here regardless because that ties back to February. But I don't think there was a player or person that was safe if they lose that game. I mean, Dan Gilbert bust in, I believe it was about 3.5% of Cleveland to Detroit for that game. If you lose that game, it automatically tells everyone, hey, we tried, we did the Harden deal, we did all these other things. Maybe this just isn't meant to be as currently constructed. And that includes Kenny Atkinson, Kobe Altman. I think everything was on the table. That's how big of a win it was last night.
So Ben and I were talking about Donovan Mitchell's game, and he had a great game. And it seemed like, and who was it that was talking about it after the game, Ben? Was it
Jared
Allen talking about Donovan making an effort to get everybody involved and play maybe a little more unselfishly. Do you think that's an accurate assessment? And what do you expect in the Eastern Conference Finals from him?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Donovan, for most of this series, has been – I don't want to say he hasn't been struggling consistently, but he's been focused on scoring, and James Harden has been doing a lot of the kind of facilitating instead of everybody up. And so I don't think it was a coincidence that Donovan had the game he had, and all of a sudden the bigs came to life last night in a way that, like, it's really hard to get Jarrett and Evan going at the same time unless it's Donovan attacking the way that only Donovan can kind of attack. So I agree wholeheartedly. I thought as good as the 26 points were, him getting the bigs going is what turned that into a blowout, because off that you were getting just wide open, ridiculous-looking threes. For the Eastern Conference Finals, it's interesting. This has been Donovan's most polarizing postseason with the Cavs, because he hasn't just been an automatic 25 to 30 a night. He's had some really bad games. And in the previous 3 years, guys, I feel like you could pencil in Donovan for 25 to 30, no matter if the Cavs are going to win or lose. So his kind of like the assessment of how Donovan's played this year is different. The three previous years, it was Don and the Donettes, right? And so this year's been a little different. He has been up and down. Harden as well has been up and down. In the end, I actually take that as kind of a positive, because you've had multiple big Strus games. Jared Allen's been a monster in 2 straight Game 7s. Like, Evan Mobley's come out. Sam Merrill's had. So, like, in the end, the recipe you need to win a championship is you need your best players each to win you a game, and then you probably need your bench to win a game, and then you probably need your head coach to win a game, right? Well, I think the Cavs have finally gotten on that, but it's at the expense of people's trust in Donovan this year, because everyone's concerned at different points whether Donovan was healthy or not.
So we have a rule on our show. If you're going into a season or a series saying, well, if they don't win this, we're going to fire the coach or we're going to trade the player, you probably should fire or trade the player anyways. If you go to the conference finals now, is everything forgiven, or what standard do they need to reach here for everyone to feel like, okay, this is the right roster, or do you think they've already eclipsed that?
So it's interesting. There's the Nick threshold. There's the Ben and Jake threshold. There's my partner JP's threshold, and I think there's Dan Gilbert's threshold. And I'm going to say Dan Gilbert's threshold is a little bit higher for this roster. One, because he's been paying out the tax at the yin-yang for about 3 years now, and this is his first Eastern Conference Finals trip. The other is you've got to make a decision on Donovan and whether to pay him or not. And it's not as simple as Donovan's really good at basketball, you want to keep him, because he is going to be on the wrong side of 30 for all of this extension. And he will be making $75 million a year for this extension as well. So I don't know that they need to, quote-unquote, get to the NBA Finals for this to happen. But it's awesome that you finally cleared the first two rounds. There's no doubt about it. You need to look like you belong against the Knicks. Like, if this is a quick, I've seen a lot of national people say this is a 4 or 5 game series with the Knicks taking this quick. If that's the case, I still think the Cavs have to reconsider, hey, do we auction Donovan off? And maybe, just maybe, pivot to a Evan Mobley-centric thing. I think that's the difference between getting swept by the Knicks in 4 games and maybe this thing going 7, or even if the Cavs win.
This sounds like a loaded question. It is not, because Ben and I both enjoyed covering Donovan Mitchell, and he was very friendly with the media and everything around here. But I'm curious as to your personal experience covering Donovan Mitchell.
It's interesting. I think Donovan has been every bit as advertised as when we got to Utah. I think honestly, when you watch him every night, you're kind of just you kind of get surprised at how great he can be in those fits of, a 50-point game where it just feels like he can't do anything. I do think that I think one of the most interesting things about Donovan is there are times where I think, oh, he's saying the right things because he knows what the right thing is to say. And then there's time where I listen to him and I think, oh, I think he's saying what he actually believes. And they sound very, very similar. But I do think it's been interesting to watch him. I think Donovan's kind of like Giannis. I think Donovan wants all the glory of being the best player on a team, but he doesn't love the kind of like the LeBron stuff, getting your hands dirty, weighing in on teammates getting traded, being the jerk. And I think this year feels like a pivot because he was consulted about the Darius Garland trade, but he still seems reticent for at least publicly to get his hands dirty. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes, very much so. Yeah, we know that. So let me ask you this then. Last night, was there a 5% contingent, 10%, 25%? Was there a group of Cavaliers fans who were hoping it would end so they would start anew or go in the Evan Mobley direction? Or do you think everyone wanted this to work out?
I can tell you there was definitely one person who did want that to go a certain way last night because it was my board op, who has been on an anti-Donovan kick here. In a way, like, I've made the point for like 2 months, like, all right, you made the trade for James Harden. Now Donovan's got to show up. Like, you've given him everything that I think he needs to succeed. And so if they don't succeed, it's not going to be because Evan Mobley isn't Giannis. It's not going to be because Jared Allen isn't Nikola Jokic. It's going to be because Donovan didn't get you over the hump. And I felt like that was like a hard line to take in this town. During Game 6, my producer, my board op is texting me Donovan Mitchell trades to the Heat. And I was like, can we let the series play out, bub? So I throw my buddy Mac under the bus there because I do think there are people who it's like, all right, let's get this show on the road. Either we're winning this thing, we're going to make a real case at going to an NBA Finals this year, the first one we ever would have done without LeBron James in franchise history. As a matter of fact, this is the first Eastern Conference Finals in Cavs history without LeBron since 1992. And let's do this, or let's go ahead and understand that maybe there's a better way to build the future. I would probably say it's under 10%, but they are a vocal minority, even if they are just a minority.
You mentioned the pundits talking about the Knicks, and I think the pundits always overrate the Knicks. That's a constant because they're in New York. I think it's going to be a way better series than that. How do you like the matchup?
Yeah, I also like this match. I feel the same way about you. Like, man, there's Knicks fans who make the Knicks very hard to root for, and then there's the national media who anytime the Knicks do anything worth of note, it's like when somebody's firstborn kid, he hits a home run or he gets a hit in baseball for the first time, and he would have thought that he's Ken Griffey Jr. It's just it's over the top. And now, in fairness, when they stink, well, no one's ever stunk more than them either. But yeah, I think this is a good matchup. And here's the thing: I'm willing to give the Knicks the edge in this because they have done more in the postseason over the last 3 or 4 years than the Cavs. And I think Jalen Brunson has risen to the moment 9 times out of 10 in key moments in the playoffs. I just think it's interesting. Like, I know Karl Anthony Towns is doing a lot of their playmaking now. Well, one-legged Joel Embiid isn't going to be able to disrupt that. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley might have something to say about that. So in the end, I think they're going to be a lot of fun because I think we're going to score a lot of points here. Both teams are. It won't be setting basketball back to the 1970s like the Cavs Pistons series were. But I still will say I think it's probably going to be Knicks in 7. But it really wouldn't surprise me if the Cavs kind of pulled this out because, one, the Cavs are criminally slept on, and two, I still don't think the Cavs have played to the ceiling of their talent. This is a team figuring out who they are every night in the postseason. I don't know how close they are to fully maximizing that, but like if you said right now, I asked this question a couple times today on my show, are the Cavs a better team now than they were before the playoffs began? I think the answer is yes, because they found a way to maintain all the little things you need to do to win in the playoffs. That's something they didn't know 2 years ago, let alone, 4 weeks ago.
I think if Donovan can play the way he played last night, absolutely, they can make the finals, no question about it. In the postgame, we played the clip earlier. Kenny Atkinson said, Donovan, congratulations, you get to go home. I will tell you, everybody in Utah, and maybe it's our inferiority complex or whatever it is, turned the state of New York, the city of Manhattan, the Brooklyn Nets as a team, into the boogeyman. Everybody was so afraid of New York and that being a destination Donovan preferred to be in over Utah that it became, I think, bigger than the actual story itself. How do Cleveland fans feel about New York? Does that still feel like a logical end point for Donovan at some point? Does that feel like an inevitability?
So not really, just because Brunson's there. And, it's interesting. For the first 2 years Donovan was here, anyone in the national media who talked about this would say, well, the second he hits free agency, he's out the door. And so when Donovan signed the contract extension, was it now 2 off seasons ago, 3 off seasons ago, it felt like maybe some flipping the bird to the national media, which we liked. And 2, it just felt like such a vindication and a validation of what the Cavs have done. And I think we've had enough success with Donovan. Like, there's this great kind of placing Donovan in the Cavs pantheon, where I think everyone here loves watching this guy play basketball. And if we could watch him play basketball until he retires and we win a championship or 2, he would be, he probably would get right in there as maybe the second greatest Cavalier ever. But we're also, there is kind of this awareness of like, great player, not LeBron. And that's not said in like a negative way towards him. It's just, we had LeBron, and I don't mean this in like a negative way. LeBron, by virtue of his power, held the Cavs hostage for all 11 years he was here. And that was so much pressure, and it was so outwardly in your face that even though I know Donovan does the same things, kind of like we talked about, it's just not as in your face. So there's almost a much more ease way here of, if it came, let's say it was this offseason, hey, Donovan, the Cavs can't align on a future, I think we'd all be bummed that he's gone. But, I mean, we've already lost the biggest thing we could ever lose twice in LeBron, and I think there's an understanding of Donovan came in as a mercenary, and he's pretty much fulfilled his obligation short of winning an NBA championship. So it's interesting. I think the LeBron stuff as always informs this. And I also think because Don goes about his business in the way which you and I talked about, I think that plays better here. Whereas LeBron, even though he's from Akron, it was a bit Hollywood. It was a bit power play. It's not enough for him to make the moves. He's got to let you know he's making the moves, and that he could leave at any moment. And I think the absence of that has allowed Cavs fans to maybe enjoy the minute by minute with Donovan just a little bit differently.
All right, I really hope this question makes sense. I love talking to sports radio guys because you get a feel for what fans are like, and I like talking about the different markets. Like here in Utah, fans have an inferiority complex that generates great interest, but also a lot of kind of whining. But like Detroit fans famously love to be mad, right? Philly fans are mean. Miami fans don't exist. I'm curious, what are Cleveland fans like?
It's interesting because this has changed in my life. We very much had that underdog mentality growing up because we hadn't sniffed a championship in 50 years by the time LeBron finally won one. And so I still think there's a little bit of that there. I do think, though, we definitely have gotten to, you're my favorite team, I love everything about you. We will flip that switch on you so quickly, though, if we think you've underperformed. And I don't know if that's the social media era, but, like, Cleveland used to get behind all levels of losers. Like, it almost made us love you more if you lost in the AFC title game to John Elway than if you had won the Super Bowl, right? Like, we took there was such a part of who we were. We took losing in such great stride. We suffered in it, right? And since we won a championship, do we flip on a team? Even this Cavs team. Like, this Cavs team this year, they were in the number 1 seed last year, 64-65 win team, beloved in Cleveland. They lost to Indiana in 5, and it was bleep those guys and everything they're about. So we're still the same town, just a little bit more snobby and act like we've won like 10 titles instead of the 1 title.
I like it.
It's great.
Yeah, hey, everybody, go to the sports radio host to take the temperature on fans. They know. And Nick, we appreciate you jumping on with us. It should be a really fun series. I believe that. I think it's going to be really close.
Guys, I got a lot of love for Utah. I got a lot of love for Salt Lake City. Hope everybody's there well, and anytime you need me, just give me a call, okay?
Oh, you're the man, Nick. We'll bug you again for sure. Thanks, buddy.
Great stuff, Nick.
See you.
All right, there you go. That is Nick Wilson, host Afternoon Drive 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland. That's funny. It's changed during his time.
I can see that. Absolutely. You win a title, and all of a sudden the expectations change, and you're no longer a lovable loser. You just came up short. We love our losers. Everyone loves their losers until you know what a winner's like.
And by the way, I didn't mean to call our fans in Utah whiners. That came off a little harsh. I more mean that we around here are so desperate to be taken seriously, we will complain about not being taken seriously.
Building up Rudy Gobert, Donovan.
Right. Yeah. Or even Utah, BYU. They're, dying to be taken seriously.
Yeah, can't believe you left us out of the college football playoff.
That whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I wasn't trying to insult our listeners. That's usually your job.
Yes, it is. You know what? From 30,000 feet, I probably should give Donovan Mitchell more credit. And I'm not an anti-Donovan guy by any means. I recognize how flawed he is. And by the way, it certainly seems like Nick Wilson and everybody in Cleveland has felt this same experience with Donovan that fans did in Utah, which is like, oh, wow, this guy's really good, but is he good enough? Mm-hmm. Filling the shoes of LeBron, being the first real post-LeBron star, is an impossible task. And considering that is the case, I actually think Donovan's probably done a pretty good job.
Nick describing his experience with Donovan was almost exactly.
Oh, it was verbatim.
It was verbatim.
It was verbatim. What every person in Utah, radio host, media member, fan, whatever it was, was exactly right. It's like, this guy always says the right thing, and you know what? Sometimes I think he might mean it. Yeah. Sometimes I think that's the truth. And sometimes this guy is really well prepped for this exact situation, almost like his father has worked in this business his whole life and he's learned how to do it.
From the day he got here.
From the day he got here.
I don't think he's changed much. I really don't.
No, I don't think he's changed at all.
We had that convo. On or off the court. I think he's the same player, which is really good.
He's a great player. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. I have no question about that. He's just going to rack up enough numbers, and he's been in the playoffs every year of his career, which is another real feather in his cap. I told you I thought you had an absolutely great take last week, which was he got there too easily. He got there his first year and never knew anything else. Yeah, how do you know what bar to cross if you start at the bar? That was kind of an issue I think Donovan may have run into by getting the playoffs so quickly in his first season. So how do you go up from there? And I don't know if he ever has. Now he's gotten to the conference finals, and this is the first time he's eclipsed where he got to his first ever playoff run. Now how does he answer?
Yeah, and it sounds like the pressure was even greater. We talked about pressure. It sounds like the pressure was even greater than we were talking about.
Big time. Ready to blow up everybody on the roster, maybe outside of Evan Mobley. Or he said James Harden was the one that was probably going to be back, which sounds like you've got the old maid in your hand. No one will take him. Right. Along those lines, I guess I do question, if Donovan's the same person, the same player, can he replicate what we saw last night? Because that's going to be the key.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Here in Utah, fans have an inferiority complex that generates great interest, but also a lot of kind of whining.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did she have to fight a dragon?
Nope, she bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Doing it big, you know?
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Thank you for making us a part of your day. Big thanks to Nick Wilson of 92.3 The Fan in Cleveland for jumping on with us during our Live at 5 segment, which is brought to you, of course, by our friends at Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 1-855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Ben, we love drama when it comes to sports. You were talking earlier how you love the players have the freedom to say controversial things.
Publicly. On their own.
On their own.
Yeah.
Well, we have a spat on Twitch. Is that what it's called? Where Jaylen Brown decided he was going to
streaming with you guys, chat.
Was going to respond to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. responded to Jaylen Brown crying about the officials and talking about his best season ever. Jaylen Brown apparently didn't like what Stephen had to say, and so went on Twitch, right?
Twitched. Started twitching.
Started tweaking.
Tweaking.
He went on tweak to talk about Stephen A. Let's play that.
Stephen A. Stephen A, Stephen B, Stephen C. Like, my offer still stands. You want me to be quiet and stop streaming? Well, I want you to be quiet and get off these networks. Because you're not using your platform to do real journalism. You're using your platform to use clickbait.
Yeah, Stephen A. Smith stopped being a journalist a while ago.
Yeah, I actually don't blame him for not being a journalist. He's an entertainer, and he entertains people.
Yeah. He was a journalist when he wrote for the Philadelphia Inquirer?
I think so.
Is that right? I'm trying to remember my
Philly
Philly
Voice.
papers.
I don't remember what he did, yeah.
But he covered the Sixers for Philly, and he did some writing for ESPN and Fox Sports at the beginning, but has really ceased being a journalist a long time ago. But insults Stephen A. Okay. Stephen A., Stephen B., and Stephen C.
No, I do like when somebody starts an insult right out of the gate with an F-bomb.
Stephen A.
All right.
Why not come out from the top rope?
I don't think it's all that effective rhetorically, honestly.
No, it's not. But it caught me off guard because I hadn't heard the comments. I'd only read them.
Okay. Stephen A. then took to his television show, I think, or is this his podcast, his First Take, and responded to Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, be careful what you wish for. You really want me to start reporting on that level? You understand? Locker room? How the organization might think about you? How the city may feel about you? How Jayson Tatum may or may not have feel about you? Sneaker deals, endorsement deals, the list goes on and on. The season is over, bro. You on Twitch, trying to do what I do, and talking about me needing to step away. It makes no sense. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm simply making the point that it is not wise, after 24 hours of having your season over in the first round, for you to be coming out talking about that's your favorite season. It ain't the smartest thing in the world to do. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I was trying to sit up there and look out by letting you know this is not a good look. It's not wise. That's all. And I would have respected Jaylen Brown more, Big Perk, Jay, had he come at y'all, had he come at everybody who said exactly what I was saying. But evidently, you understand, when you're talking about clickbait and all of that stuff, somebody told you one of the best ways to get it is to bring up my name. And that's what you did. So who's really looking for clickbait? Is it me or is it you? And obviously, you would think you wouldn't need it. $304 million, NBA player. You don't need it. What you doing it for? Get your ass a studio. You looking like you in some dungeon, some little room or whatever. You making $54 million a year. You're going to make 57 next year, 61 the year after that, 67 the year after that. You're in the midst of a $304 million contract. Get a studio with a director and a producer. Call it up, clips of mine. The computer ain't even working right, can't even get the full sound up in there. Get that together. That's number one. Stop being so damn cheap. You got the money. Pay it, okay, for a better production.
Okay. First of all, I like it that Stephen A. didn't go to the insult until the end.
Yes.
He went with a threat at the beginning, which is hilarious to me. Come on, Stephen A. What are you talking about? Addicted to your own self-import.
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't want me to report.
Me to report on what's really? Again, you stopped being a reporter a long time ago. You have no idea what you're talking about when it comes to that sort of thing. No offense. But I do like that he led with a threat. Don't lead with an insult. Lead with a threat, and then sneak the insult in at the end.
And the insult was funny. The insult was the funniest part. I don't think Jaylen Brown cares about the things Stephen A. is threatening him with. Because Jaylen Brown clearly does not care about those things and really never has. Again, we've talked about Jaylen's kind of a weird dude. And I don't mean weird bad. He's weird in the circle. He's weird amongst NBA circles. He kind of doesn't care about some of the same things that a lot of the other players care about. He cares about some other things more than other NBA players care about. But the reason we were just talking to Nick Wilson from, he's a host of a radio show in Cleveland. And he said Donovan always says the right thing, and some of the times he might even mean it. Jaylen Brown very rarely says the right thing. He's smart enough to know he's not saying the right thing, and he keeps saying it anyways. Because I don't think he actually cares that much about Jayson Tatum's feelings being hurt that he said this is the favorite season he's ever had, even though he didn't play with Jayson Tatum the whole time, or what that might look like. And Stephen A. tried to come at him for that. I don't think he cares. I honestly don't think Jaylen Brown cares. He's kind of a lone wolf. He kind of goes rogue. I do think that is Jaylen Brown's thing, so I'm not sure he's certainly going to be threatened by what Stephen A. has to say.
Rogue or an idiot? He either better be farming for clicks, or he's not very smart. If he's actually responding to Stephen A. Smith, you're killing it. Why would he do that? Why would you ever do that? Why would you ever care what Stephen has to say? I hope he's farming clicks.
Yeah.
Because if he's not, then that's not rogue behavior. That's unintelligent behavior. And you should not even give. Why would, I say it all the time, why would anybody that we cover actually care about our opinion?
Yeah.
Why would that even move the needle for you? Oh, did you hear what Ben was saying? I'm going to totally reconsider what I thought I was going to do.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're a smart guy, Ben. I work with you every day, but you would hope that front offices would be immune to a writer on the outside. You know what I mean?
Brian Santiago should not be making decisions based off of what Ben Anderson says.
Absolutely not. Good third person. Well done. Yeah. That's today's exercise. I think you did that one accidentally, though.
Correct.
But to your point, he shouldn't. No, absolutely not. Because I remember Chris Hill responded to something Gordon Monson said out of pocket on the radio. And I would guess after the dust was settled, Chris regrets that.
Of course.
I would think so. He released his press release responding to something Gordon said offhanded on a DJ and PK live hit. And it created a lot more than it would have been if it just disappeared into the atmosphere. You know, why do you care what Gordon says on DJ and PK other than hopefully he's being entertaining talking about sports? But why should Jaylen Brown care for 1 second what Stephen A. Smith says? He shouldn't even be watching it, let alone responding to it. And if you respond to it, you're giving Stephen A. Smith exactly what it is that he wants.
People responding to Stephen A. is the reason Stephen A. is who he is.
That's the reason he exists.
Yeah, because people have continuously and continually built him up, including, and Stephen A. is brilliant at this. Stephen A. knows how to do this because what was he doing 6 months ago? He was going on Fox News. Like, Stephen A. knows how to get himself in front of the biggest audiences and draw a bunch of attention, and he does not care if you criticize him. Yeah, I'm sure that bugs him at times. I'm sure it makes him feel uneasy because he is a human being, but he knows it's good for his paycheck, and it's really good for his paycheck. I'm sure he's the highest paid media member out there right now in sports media. He's top 5 for sure.
It's either he or what do they pay Pitt?
Yeah, Pitt might be the highest, but he's up there. Stephen A. is making dozens of millions.
What about Stephen B and Stephen C?
And that was funny. You're right. It is stupid of Jaylen Brown to respond, and I think that comes from a naivete and a competition.
Well, all Stephen is saying is that it was stupid of him to talk about that stuff in the first place.
Which, by the way, was accurate.
Which is correct.
Yeah, Stephen A. was not wrong on that front. And
it was stupid of him to say that was my favorite season.
Yes.
After they just got eliminated. And, of course, every bozo like you and I are going to say, well, what does that say about Jayson Tatum?
Correct.
It's the layup response that 100% of the audience had as soon as he said that. So you're either doing it on purpose or you're a dummy.
And maybe he's a dummy. He certainly doesn't have great media skills.
He's either I think he's farming for attention.
He might be. I mean, that's why he's going on Twitch.
I think Stephen A. Smith is totally right about that. I think he is farming clicks. I think he is going for the attention. Why else would he do it?
Get a studio with a director and a producer.
Yeah, seriously.
They ain't even working right, can't even get the full sound.
If you're going to
get that together.
If you're going to beg for attention, do it right.
It's working for him right now.
Is it?
But it will change how people view him, which maybe he doesn't care about.
I think it probably created. If you were Jayson Tatum and you heard him say that, what would your reaction be?
Can we get Giannis?
So now they're tap dancing behind the scenes on how to say, no, everything's just fine. Just like with Donovan and Rudy and all this stuff. He's either doing it on purpose or he's a dummy.
The one thing I would say is in a lot of ways, these players of all sports are just extremely human and have the same issues that you and I do, different financial situations, but the same issues and insecurities, and hear what people say about them critically. That is one thing. On the flip side, some of them are so vain that they can't take any criticism. And by the way, that's not pointed at Jaylen Brown. That could be Jayson Tatum, and you better hope it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Because if Jayson Tatum is so vain that he takes that layup response of, oh, the best season you ever had is not playing with me? Well, I'm the best player on the team, and I'm going to reinforce how I'm the most important player on the team, and I'm going to have them trade you. That could happen.
Şengün stopped passing to Kevin Durant.
Correct.
After that burner thing, Şengün stopped passing to Kevin Durant. Shout out to David Locke, who was the first person I heard that pointed that out. And he was totally right.
But there is those types of dynamics all across sports. And
sure.
And Jaylen Brown better hope that Jayson Tatum doesn't have it.
We have some breaking news, Ben. The
Spurs guaranteed to win game one.
They're winning. That's going to happen.
It's a guarantee.
De'Aaron Fox has been ruled out for game one. By the way, how do you know the Shams Charania?
Wait, who does De'Aaron Fox play for?
The Spurs.
Oh, okay.
How do you know the Shams Charania is in the tank for clutch? You ready? I'm going to read it verbatim.
Okay.
San Antonio Spurs star De'Aaron Fox has been ruled out for game one.
Hello.
Star. We were talking about actresses off the air the other day. Christian and I were. And actresses that our friends dated. And we made it a point to say, you cannot use the word star. Okay. He did not date a star.
To be fair,
De'Aaron Fox is not a star.
He did make an all-star team this year, but yes, absolutely, Shams is in the pocket for Adele.
100%.
Yeah.
Did anybody ever call Mehmet Okur a star?
Utah Jazz star Mehmet Okur, no.
Anyway, the Spurs are going to win.
Yeah. Hello. Start Dylan Harper tonight. They're juiced.
More Jake and Ben next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Kick off Memorial Day savings with up to an extra $1,000 off select top brand appliances like Frigidaire. Plus, get free delivery at the Home Depot. Stack your appliance lineup with a fridge with an extra large ice capacity and an oven with over 15 cooking modes. Then let the real MVP handle cleanup with a dishwasher's 50-minute wash cycle. Shop appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 14th through June 3rd. U.S. only. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more. See store or online for details.
If you walk into a room and can't remember why, it could be nothing or something more. If you confuse a familiar recipe, it could be a slip-up. Or it could be associated with amyloid plaque buildup in the brain. Amyloid is a protein that your body produces naturally, but a buildup in the brain could lead to memory and thinking issues. To see what may be behind your memory and thinking issues, talk to your doctor about getting a full assessment. It's never too early to start the conversation. Visit amyloid.com to learn more.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car is gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Did my card go through?
Oh no.
Your small business depends on its internet. So switch to Verizon Business. And you could get LTE business internet starting at $39 a month when paired with select business mobile plans. That's unlimited data for unlimited business.
There we go.
Get the internet you need at the price you want. Verizon Business. Starting price for LTE business internet, 25 megabits per second unlimited data plan with select Verizon Business smartphone plan savings. Terms apply.
Hiring isn't just filling a role. It's about finding people who can drive results. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you match with the right candidates faster. Target candidates by skills, certifications, or location. Join the 3.3 million employers worldwide that use Indeed to connect with quality talent that fits their needs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got him made Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
This message is for Jake and Ben. I've been thinking about some of your guys' draft analysis. I think in a lot of ways, people, fans and franchises pick out of a fear of not getting the star, the next face of the league. And so rather than picking based around who's going to be an NBA player, we want to draft around who could be the face of the NBA. And I think that mentality leads to taking swings that don't need to be taken. In this draft, I think Cam Boozer's a solid player and could be a starter on an NBA roster. Is his upside, being in those classes of the greatest players of all time? Maybe not. But if we could add a player like Carlos Boozer to the roster right now, I would be super happy about that. So to add a really solid starter, I think that's a win. So I'm all in favor of not swinging for the fence and instead picking the guy that will work.
In the words of the great Howard Dean, we're going to go to Washington, D.C. and take back the White House.
Great call-ins. Thank you, Jared. The first one talking about the draft, and then Ryan, who did that very well.
Yeah, better than I did. Shout out. I would say regarding the draft, and I'm totally with you, by the way, I'm a big Cam Boozer fan. I think Cam's going to be a great player. And I think fans are lower on Cam Boozer than front offices are.
Maybe. I just think, I disagree a little bit with Jared with the number 2 pick. You are going for an all-star with the number 2 pick. Maybe it works out, maybe it doesn't, but that's the expectation. So you got to take the best player. I actually think where teams get themselves in trouble is they take who they're supposed to take.
Yes, absolutely.
Is the draft boards have us taking this player, and I think that stems from GMs don't want to get fired, because when you take somebody out of place, that's how people, the know-it-alls of the world, say, "Oh, how could they do
Sends
that?
the radar up.
How could they take Doak? My Lanta."
Yeah.
Did you see that Desmond Bane was on the board?
Right.
That gets GMs fired.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of times GMs go with the safe pick. Like they would take Peterson instead of Boozer because Jabroni at Draft Express had Peterson at 2 when you, in your heart of hearts, think that Boozer is the all-star. Does that make sense?
100%. And look, I am with Jared.
Yes, Jared. Mm-hmm.
Where I generally tend to say, like, I was talking to a player about this, or a guy about this a couple years ago, about Kyle Filipowski. And I was like, Kyle Filipowski should be the 12th player picked. He's going to be the 12th best player in this draft, the same way Kelly Olynyk was the 11th best player in his draft. It's like that guy should go there. He's going to be that level. And the argument, which I think I've evolved on and have come around on, is you don't get that many chances to take a high-risk swing And if you do connect on that high-risk swing, it's so much more valuable than a Kyle Filipowski or a Kelly Olynyk could ever be, that in certain situations you need to draft swing, not just, well, the 11th best guy here is the guy we should draft 11th. And along those lines, when you're drafting one or two, while there's the safest bet in Cam Boozer, who, again, I'm a huge fan of, and I see a world where Cam is the best player in this draft, the ability to swing on a guy who could reach a much higher high really is the sell for some front offices, that you don't actually get to make that many big swings. No matter what the Jazz do in free agency, they can't swing to get the best player in the NBA. He's never going to become available to Utah in free agency. So you have to take those calculated swings elsewhere. And that's why you have to go for an A.J. DiPonsa or a Darren Peterson. That's just the I guess kind of the strategy behind it.
We will have more coming up next. Stay tuned. 6 o'clock hour on the way. Jake and Ben, 97.5 VKSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Summer is all about freedom, fun, and growing up. And between the ages of 9 and 13, kids are starting to form their views about alcohol. With more independence, their still developing brains need more guidance and support than ever. That's why summer is the perfect time to stay connected and plan fun, safe family activities together. Research shows kids who spend quality time with their parents doing what they enjoy are less likely to drink underage. And when kids feel close to you, they're more likely to listen, especially when you set clear expectations. In fact, kids who drink before 15 are far more likely to struggle with alcohol later. This summer, create a no-bummer summer with fun, alcohol-free activities for your kids. Go to summer.parentsempowered.org to take a quick quiz and discover ideas tailored to your family. A little time together can make a big difference. For more information and to learn more about how to prevent underage drinking, visit parentsempowered.org.